today, or actually a couple of players. And Anuri Tavares is a good hitter, had an excellent year at Portland. He ended up making the Eastern League All-Star team, and he was the MVP of the Portland club. And a pretty fair Portland club. They had some good players on that club. Moncada was on that team, and Benintendi, who we saw. But this kid is a good offensive player, excellent speed, and he's playing in the Dominican. We'll need to find a position for him, but he can hit, he can run, and he does have some power. If you take a look at the 13 triples that he had, that's reflective of his power as well as his very capable speed. So we're glad to add him to our club. We were looking to add some speed to our ball club from a year ago, and although he's not a base stealer, Tavares has excellent speed and good offensive capability. Started out as an infielder, and he's played some at second base, and then he most recently has been playing in the outfield, and then he's been a DH down in the Dominican. So he's moved around. A similar profile player that probably dates me, but goes back a little bit, Louis Polonia. He's a similar skills to that type of player. So Anthony Santander, he's a disciple of Victor Martinez, and if you see him play, he has a lot of Martinez's mannerisms. He's got a similar type stance. He's an excellent young hitter. He was the best offensive player in the Carolina League. Had 95 RBIs, hit over 20 home runs, and he's just 22 years old. He was the youngest player that we were considering for the draft. But we like his capability to hit in the big leagues, to hit from both sides of the plate with power. And he recently had a surgery on his shoulder, but at 22 years old, we think there's enough ability there, particularly with the bat, to take a chance on him and then get him into our organization. But that was a good club that the Indians had in the Carolina League, and this kid was the best offensive player in the league. Had a lot of extra base hits. He plays the outfield. But today we picked up a couple of young hitters, one with very good speed and one with power from both sides of the plate to add to the organization. They're both young. They're 22 and 24. So we'll see if they can address our need for outfielders in the organization.
How recent was Santander's surgery, and what shoulder was it?
You know, Dan, it's in his right shoulder. We didn't have access to all the medicals on him, but we had access, and we're comfortable in that. We think is worth a shot based on his talent as a hitter to add him to our roster.
Will he be spring training ready?
We're going to find out a little bit more about that, but I believe he's got good ability and power from both sides of the plate. He has youth, and he's a very good offensive player.
With the stated goal to improve outfield defense, how are these two on defense?
Well, the Tavares has very good speed to cover the ground, and he should be able to cover ground and do a good job in the outfield. Santander, his best tool is his bat, but based on the looks that we had at him, he covers the ground in the outfield, and it looks like he'd have a good bat to play left field.
Dan, this doesn't change what you guys are looking for on the free agent market when it comes to outfielders or potential trades?
No, we're still looking to add to our outfield, obviously. These are young players that should add to the overall depth of the organization, and Tavares has very good speed, which is additive, and an excellent on-base capability. They both have good on-base capabilities, but we're going to continue to look for outfield and also catching.
And were you surprised, relieved that you didn't lose anybody?
Well, it's good when you keep your players on your rosters. Our staff works very hard in evaluating the talent so that we can keep the talent that we sign at the amateur level and continue to develop it. So, I think it's good that we made the right decisions, to protect players and then also to leave players off the roster. We still have all the players in our organization that we started with. And we added a couple.
The work here helps you maybe making a deal later on?
Well, we've met with several clubs. We met with some clubs this morning, and we've laid groundwork for some potential deals that we can follow up on. It's kind of a process. It's a little bit of a puzzle. And the deals that you don't make help you put the pieces together for the deals that you do make.
You're a pretty patient guy. Everyone wants to make a deal here, but you seem to do it afterwards, right?
We work at building our team year-round. We're trying to build our team so that we're good in October, but we have to work at it on a year-round basis. I'm happy that we added 2 good young players today, and we're going to continue to add to our club. The good news is we have a veteran club, and we have a lot of the good players back from last year from a team that made the playoffs. So we have all the core players back. We need to add to the outfield, obviously, and address the catching, but the pitching staff, the lineup, the infield defense, that's all intact, and that's strong, and the bullpen is still a strength.
And do not let yourself get discouraged when you see what the Yankees did last night, what the Red Sox did when they were here.
Well, we're the Orioles, and we have a certain way of building our team and doing things, and we have to be very resourceful to compete against the behemoths in the AL East. And we've effectively done that for a couple of years, and we're going to compete, and we're going to try to do it again this year.
Dan, how much of a challenge is it to try and keep 2 Rule 5 guys? I mean, I know you've done this before where you selected 2 and you can only keep 1. Is it, when you look at this, do you think you probably can only keep 1 of these 2 gentlemen?
Well, I think the important thing today is to say that the Orioles added good young talent to their organization, and then we'll go to spring training, we'll take a look at them, and then we'll see where they fit in the organization. But we added good speed and 2 good young hitters to the organization.
Looks like the one young man is B.J. Surhoff's nephew. Did you get a family scouting report?
Well, Brian Moran is a left-hand pitcher we have interest in for a couple of years. We tried to acquire him when he was with Seattle. And if you've been around B.J., you know that B.J.'s very proud of his nephews that play in pro ball. But that's not why we drafted him. He has good ability. He's down in Puerto Rico pitching effectively. He's a very good competitor. Has an excellent changeup, and we're going to take a look at him.